It's that time of the day where we do our live stream. It's finally here. I'm noticing that the texture of the little rails behind me, they kind of look like glass a little bit. They kind of brighten up depending on how far away they are, and then you turn and it kind of comes and goes. Look to the left. See that? Anyway, distractions. We're live on the twitch.tv/the Xisuma, streaming the Stoneblock. Today, I just want to build. I've kind of decided that I think I want to kind of like wrap up the size of this factory that we've been building, and maybe start to build around the side over here, and then start to get some of the front here more finished up, because we've got a cool look, but it's just kind of, you know, this is it, essentially. Now, I need to mute for a second and clear my throat. Yeah, as soon as I started talking there, I get all a bit congested or something. I think we might start out here today. I feel just a little bit inspired to work on this area. Why not? Let's go grab some pumps and lights. That's just where I'm going to start. So I just want to build. That was my idea today. Just the stuff we're doing over here is all a bit very rabbit holey, and I felt like I'd like to get a little further along with the factory. I think something that's important when playing this game is that you keep like progressing into new areas. If you keep staying in the same area, it feels kind of stale, right? At least that's how I've been feeling about this project a little bit. So we're gonna go over here and what's that? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Something like this. I'll probably move in a little bit. Get some light over here. I guess I should probably just do away with all these materials, as they were from our last building project that we did, and get in some fresh ones like brownstone and whatnot. Just surfaced from the old strip mine, 106 diamond ore, says Simon. Simon says Sir Firefold. That is a lot of diamond ore. We're using the level from the diamond video. That's it. That's the one. That's the chisel one as well. Plenty of that we want. Some of this too, because we're on this outside part, I guess. Simon says Sir Firelord, I'm struggling a little bit with my throat. Keep having to swallow, and I don't know, I haven't really done much talking today, so it's probably just, if any, I don't think I've done any talking today, so it's probably just that. You know, just everything's kind of like waking up, like, oh, are we doing this now? You know, just looking at the materials we've used so far. I think it'd be nice to bring in something different, but I don't want to go too different, so I'll probably go with like maybe this sheet metal. What one is that? Steel. We'll use some steel sheet metal over here. I did request a heck of a lot of that stuff, but we will end up using it all. Do you have a pet, says Turbo Tom. I do not have a pet. I think I would like a pet, but I see it as a big responsibility and one that I don't have time for. You know, not in a bad way. Don't have time for that. That's not what I'm saying. I would take, you know, looking after a pet very seriously, I guess. So, just based on one thing to the next here. Something like that. And then curtail into the next thing. But I feel like there's something that needs to go here, and I don't quite know what it is, and my voice is struggling. God, you can hear it. You can probably hear it. Yeah, so what this is going to be over here, I just don't know yet. We're just going to build shapes and see where it leads us, I think, is the approach at this point. Not really sure. I don't think I want to continue this over there. I'm using it as a bit of a stopper. I like the idea of there being a window for some reason over here. And I almost feel like I want to block it off like that. And then if we have some windows on this thing, I definitely want to make it feel like it's not one of those, so a different sort of window with a light source behind it. We got Raven Monster here for 7 months saying, "Hello X, I've been watching your old live streams on YouTube and I'm almost caught up." Awesome, my dude. Thanks for watching them. Thanks for checking them out. Excuse me. Bit of a burp there. Glad to have you with us live. Russell Woods here for 12 months. A whole year. A whole year of the derp. Thank you so much, my dude. This is where we introduced the Basalt. And it's definitely going to need some work if we're to continue extending it across, I think. Like something different's got to take place up the top here. Don't know what that will be. Oh yeah, and what about some of our detail blocks? Like, I've been wanting to use that somewhere. I'm not sure if this is the spot, really. Insulated lighting rods. You know, it looks like I didn't make a recipe for it. Let's go and take care of that. This is where we make the recipes. Start off with that one, finish with this one. And then find them a home in here. That's how we do it. So now I can request a bunch of these. And into the inventory they go. Wonderful. Pulse says, favourite card games here. I'd love to try and adapt them to systems I'm making in Minecraft. I'm quite fond of these sort of deck building games where you kind of bring in different cards to make your gameplay like stronger or not. But like classic card games, I quite like playing solitaire or free cell whenever you need like a moment to pass the time. They can be a bit of fun. Looks like do they block light going through, even though they're sort of transparent? Well, that creates a rather bizarre effect. I wonder what you can do with that. Light, you know, they block the light coming through. If you built them up here, it'd be kind of weird. You would see... I almost feel like doing that to create like some sort of novel viewing experience around this thing, just building it like top to bottom. As if it's like, yeah, I might hold on to that idea, as if it's just some sort of like bizarre thing inside of the factory that we're going to build. So yeah, as you can see, I've kind of mirrored this to that side, but I don't think we're going to have another entrance here. We're just going to have these two and let that be that. And build the thing up from there. Yeah, maybe it'd be better to go with... I've done scaffolding before. And I've never done the aluminium scaffolding, but let's grab some of this in here as well. Nako Brado, thank you for 4 months of support. We also got MLDKNR1 here for 7. Saying pizza is love, pizza is life. I do like a pizza. I had one just the other day. If you're deck building, you should check out Domination. It's a great kingdom builder with tons of strategy. Pulse, be sure to tweet that at me and I'll check it out. I'm always interested in games like that. Maybe the trick here is that we bring it in a block. Ooh. Here we go. Yeah, not really sure what that's doing. But I guess we could maybe surround it with some light sources or put something of interest in here. What about putting some good old glowstone just down the bottom so light comes out of it? Honestly, that feels like a bit much, but I think we're on the right path actually. No, this kind of looks good. I think the glowstone just needs to be lower down. Right, so the next time we'd open it up again is about here. Same on this side. fill in this stuff anyway, I think. Yeah, I think the use of the wand would be smart. Somewhere around here. Oh, it's already in my inventory. Pulse, thanks for tweeting me. Man, imagine if we got live streams of X-Plane Dominion. Well, it's variety month, so checking out other games is kind of the deal at the moment. Doing Little Nightmares tomorrow. I might start that stream a little earlier than I originally advertised, but I'll just see how things go. Yeah, that is space we can actually build in, except I don't really want light sources going down there. So from this spot now, yeah, I think that's a fair amount of light. This needs something here, probably just one of these really in the middle, as we've done a fair bit of that. What about arms? Get a couple of these in. Looks like we've got a block missing here. That looks pretty fair to fill up the space. And it's defo going in the right direction, just haven't had an idea really pop yet. This is kind of okay. We need to now make the next thing. I think it might be smart just to return to what we've already done over here, as that will allow us to power through. One of the things I wanted to do was really just make some progress, and if I get a little too caught up in the whole inspiration, you know, new look, it can take a lot of time. It took us a lot of time to build this, so let's like make use of it and hammer this out. That's what I'm thinking. As I'm at a point where I really kind of want to get a feeling going, like a new area perhaps, and get this factory thing making sense. Bob Lean says, "Hi X and all friends from the UK. Is it really so bad with the trash and empty shelves because of Omicron? Pandemic deniers here are doubting what they see on the news again." Cool. So I can't really comment beyond my own region on what I've seen anecdotally myself. I have not really heard of reports of anything being particularly bad in terms of empty shelves or trash. I mean, that's a story I haven't heard from anyone or seen on the BBC. Around here, everything's fine. Some shops, you do have, like, you can see there's supply chain issues with certain things being a little lacking on the shelves, but there isn't really a food shortage. But a lot of this stuff can be regional, so different regions of the UK can have different issues with how would you say, like, you know, supply chain and how goods and things get moved around and whatnot. It's interesting that you bring up a topic with perhaps a little bit of controversy attached to it there as well, because I was listening to something earlier that just made me want to talk. It just made me want to, like, say something. So I don't know if y'all follow or know of this channel called Channel 5, News with, was it Andrew Callahan? Used to be called All Gas No Brakes. I really like what the guy does. It's goes into places where other people are perhaps writing stories about these people or what's going on, and he lets them, you know, say it from their own mouth. And the editing style is obviously trying to extract some humor out of the situation, but the sort of journalism that it is, to me, is you know, you could probably create a critique of it in one way or another, but, like, for me, it's when you let people say their own thoughts and speak for themselves, someone like myself can then, you know, evaluate that better. I don't like how certain thoughts and ideas are sort of held to you know, like gatekeeping. Like, there can be gatekeeping on opinions where, you know, some authority somewhere in journalism has decided, oh, that this whole thing, it's whack and we shouldn't talk about it or whatever. And I don't like that approach. I may happen to agree that some of these things are just, you know, bonkers and not healthy, but I think it's important to have discourse. And so a channel like his tends to let those people, you know, speak for themselves as he goes and interviews these people and lets them talk and whatnot. So anyway, he interviews the now famous QAnon shaman who's in jail, and he interviews him from jail, and it is a bizarre conversation to say the least. And he had a really hard time holding back his laughter at one point as well. And I've always got this sense that he's someone who goes into these spaces and lets people talk, but generally goes to places where he's like perhaps less likely to actually agree with what they're saying, but gives them the respect to have their place to talk, which is, again, the sort of thing I think is kind of important. To let people talk and be able to say, and not to hold like some sort of authority of wrong or right when it comes to free speech. And we've got some noises, so we'll quickly interrupt for these noises. Blue Bottle 77, thank you for 63 months and gifting 5 subs to Merrier Cat, Sarah McKeum, Rabid Turtle, Remila Cash DW, and Go Mr. Bob. If you heard your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in the chat. To Blue Bottle, thank you again for gifting those subs. And Absolutely Naffin is here for 17 months. Finally caught up on the VOD so can watch live again. That's awesome. Glad to have you back with us. And I am having a sip of tea right now. Zoe says, Andrew's channel is the perfect mix of informative and enjoyment, in my opinion. Yeah, I wouldn't use the word informative. Like, it's not like you're being taught something, you're being shown, right? And I think that people should be encouraged to use, you know, tools of reason and whatnot when being faced with difficult ideas, but those difficult ideas shouldn't be like locked away and sequestered and you're not allowed to talk about that. I think that's really unhelpful. I think the bad ideas need to be combated with discussion and discourse, and the better ideas will prevail, is what I believe. Let's go grab this. So anyway, he's interviewing the QAnon shaman, and you know, at the beginning of the conversation, it's like, yeah, maybe this guy is pretty normal. Maybe he's been misrepresented. You can hear it from his own mouth, right? And it doesn't take too long for it to kind of go off the deep end into some real strange way of thinking. And there's this kind of like rambling train of thought using these sort of appeals to reason that aren't really very well structured. Like just mentioning people's names, like making a point and then going, oh, like Martin Luther King, oh, like Gandhi, which he did a couple of times. I'm like, I'm really not sure like to what exactly you're referring to anymore. But some of the logic and stuff and use of reasoning was just pretty bizarre, to say the least. And there was just one bit that just went too far for me. I'm listening to it, and I'm trying to think, like, how do you reason with this level of, like, buying into secret cabals that control things? Because when you push back against that, it tends to then be easy to go, well, that's because you're part of it, or you've been brainwashed, right? It's like the logic of itself is self-protecting. It's not even really logic, but I like to use that term because I heard something a while back about how we often use logic and reason to defend our emotional positions without those things really actually being that logical or reasonable. And I try and catch myself doing this. It's kind of tricky, But there are moments where that happens, where you can use a little line of thinking, and then if you think about how that might be used in other lines of thinking, and then it doesn't hold up, it's like, oh, is that really a great way to assess and evaluate this particular thing or not? Anyway, so he goes off the deep end, right? With this just absolute ramble into all kinds of layers of conspiracy that's going on in the government and all this. And it's like getting a bit hard to keep up with. And then he starts saying like, look at this person, look at that person. And he basically takes different historical figures and compares them or creates a link with someone who is living today based on a similarity of look. And one of them was like Barbara Bush and Aleister Crowley kind of look alike. And like I'm just thinking, how is this in any way an argument to say that because they look alike, this is evidence of some form of conspiracy, like deep state conspiracy? I mean, it's bonkers. There's like, this is why you and I need to, when we have ideas, is also play devil's advocate to our own ideas and think about how our ideas could be wrong. Because a little bit of thought can take you a long way with an idea like that. There's almost 8 billion people on this planet. That is a lot of people. And there's a certain range of how people can look different from one another, and perhaps that range isn't particularly massive. And with so many people and the availability of photos and whatnot, I mean, you will find people that look alike. There is a website, I think it's called Find My Doppelganger, that helps you, like, you submit your photo and it helps like doppelgangers find one another. I think they also refer to it sometimes as like twins or like not twins. And so there are people that have found each other who are completely genetically like unrelated, but look identical, look like they could be identical siblings. And yet they're not blood related. Well, on some level they might be, distantly or whatever, but at least at the level that this website investigates, they're not blood related. And you know, and like, what about watching shows and movies, right? Like, a little bit of makeup and the right kind of lighting can help you look like someone else if you're trying to achieve that for a movie. And so the line of reasoning just, it falls apart. But the problem is, it's like layers of reasoning that is shabby like that. That if someone picks apart one, you fall back to another. And this is where I think like the emotional thing comes in. I think it's really easy to think, hey, I'm rational and reasonable, and it's a lot harder to think maybe I'm not. And it's something I ask of myself, and I like notice, hang on a minute, this thing right here that I think is actually like more emotionally driven maybe than I realise. Like, especially being someone who leans to more left ideas of like equality and welfare, a lot of that stuff is driven by emotion. And I don't think that means it's a bad thing or that it can't be that way, but like, just the acknowledgement of that, like, goes a long way in the reasoning. At least for me it does. Let's get this lined up, is what I'm thinking. Don't know if any of you have any thoughts on that little waffle there, but I just wanted to get it off my chest. I was once mistaken for a human rights activist that was interviewed on a big news channel. A professor approached me, and when he said he mixed up, he looked closer at me and said, "Are you sure? You do look exactly like here." That just freaked me out. Yeah, maybe they were caught off guard more than suggesting, I don't know, you were there, you're in the situation. I mean, that sounds to me like it could be like, you're caught off guard, like, oh, you're not the person I thought you were, and your response is like, are you sure? You know what it's like in social situations, like, sometimes like you stick your foot in it by saying something you shouldn't have, and then you're like sort of caught on a wobble, if that makes any sense. But you were there, you would know the context better. I just wonder. Right, let's keep on with the building, as I kind of know what I'm going to do here. Yeah, let's start about here then. Yeah, I might remove those. I think we've got another opportunity for some lighting here. Hey X, I missed the setup of this conversation. Who are we talking about? We're talking about the QAnon Shaman, as they're known. And another thing that started to like cross my mind is how the events of January 6th have been perceived. Personally, I find it very worrying how a party has kind of aligned around this idea that it didn't happen or it wasn't a big deal. But I'm not sure if it's entirely useful to be completely condemnatory of that, because things are like seem to be really quite fragile over there in America right now. It's like, is there a moment where people can go, okay, let's just look past this and move forward together? Is that a dangerous thing to do? It's a very complicated situation. Talbot says, but I think that's the whole point these people try to make. They also think we should think for ourselves. Yeah. There's a few common things that get said, like do your own research, think for yourself, etc., which on some level are quite like, they're not particularly great ideas, because, you know, thinking for yourself doesn't speak to the quality of thought that one can have. Thinking for yourself, if you're not wise, can get you in trouble. Let's grab a bit more of that. Tetley T says, what are we talking about? Politics, believe it or not. And maybe I won't stick on that subject for too long. Just after what I saw today, it just kind of made me think, like, man, like, things are not healthy. Not healthy over there. X, when are you planning to make Infinity Armor? Whenever we get back round to grinding out those mods. I kind of really wanted to progress our base that we got going on here and make it feel more finished. And I tell you what, something I desperately need to do is to clog the stone up around that bit so we don't have the light leaking over. Oh, how I love Jim Kirkwood, says Maurice. Yes, yes, Jim Kirkwood has brought us much joy on these streams. Steel fences might be a kind of nice thing to bring into the palette. I also just noticed those things are kind of cool. Well, we knew that they were cool, but just what if we used them like this? Just something a bit different, I guess. And then the way that we've been using the scaffold is to recess it and have a different material behind it, and then something different underneath it. Not sure if I want to do that again or if I want to use the fans. Hey, we got a noise! It's Becca11 gifting a sub to Maurice, who's enjoying the Jim Kirkwood. Maurice, be sure to say thanks in chat, and Becca, thank you as always for supporting our community. Like everyone is a virologist nowadays, we should not think for ourselves, but digest information available and make a conclusion. Yeah, that's a really fair point. I've had some, you know, opinions on virology related things, right? But if I could re-articulate myself, I had gained a passing interest in, you know, learning about all sorts of stuff, really. It's like a change that I've gone through as I've gotten older, is I've just become more interested in, like, general knowledge. And before all of this happened, I was starting to, like, learn and understand about it through various explainer videos and stuff that I'd watch. So, you know, you come into it with perhaps a little bit more knowledge than the average person, and then you see what appears to be like clear disinformation and misunderstanding about these topics. But the real takeaway is just that I think sometimes it's just a lack of understanding as to how complex it all is. It's complex to the point where, like, the scientific community and experts can essentially disagree, right? Like, science is a process. It changes, it moves based on what data's available and how people interpret the data and how they communicate with one another as to what's going on. It's not a cut and dry thing. And often it gets portrayed as being such, when typically when it suits someone for it to be so. I think I'm going to have this thing like tower up. Let's build a bit more shape here. Hey, can you suggest a good tech progression mod pack for someone who hasn't played modded in years, says favourite DH. Not really, because I haven't played modded a lot either, and this is like just the one pack that I've been playing after having not played it for some time. When is Hermitcraft coming out, buddy? Says DXGJNR. Hermitcraft is coming out. So, let's continue now that y'all know that. And I'm going to use the wand again because I keep forgetting to use the wand. Hang on, we need to build this up. So what, my microphone was muted. Oh, did I accidentally hit the mute button again? Dang it. Why do I keep doing that? Sorry, chat. Sorry about that. What? When does it come out? I didn't catch that, says Bobby. I'm sorry, I hit the mute button right as I said it. Okay, Hermitcraft will come out of the box that it's been kept in. So yeah. Alright, and keep it hush. Keep it on the DL, you know? Don't want everyone knowing. Okay. We can keep it between us, right? Lems! 3011 Crafts is here gifting subs to Jesus21. Thank you for gifting that sub. And also Becca's gifting a sub to ManuCL98. Thank you again for the gifted subs. And as always, peeps say thanks in chat if you are gifted. Enjoy your stream, peace. I'm sorry. No, I think they didn't appreciate that. Oh, they're out of here. I think it's like, you know, the trolling around it is like, if you're me or if you're a hermit, like, you get it so much. It's just like, it's just like, I know every person thinks about it the same way, but it's like, it should be obvious that, you know, it'll start when it starts. And that's it. I guess maybe you could make the argument that, you know, maybe if it wasn't Hermitcraft, if it was a different group of people that did it a different way, they'd just tell you what's going on. But, like, that's not how we do it. Everything's got to be a secret at Hermitcraft. Including where the Hermitcraft server is located. I don't even know where it is. It just works. I admire people for how they can stay calm after getting asked something so many times, says Maurice. Well, I don't know if I would classify myself as staying class as I deal with it by trolling. Sorry, staying calm is the word. But yeah, it is a thing, like, especially if you're like, I don't know, maybe if you're like a celebrity, right? Like, I imagine being the sort of celebrity that attracts people that want to, like, you know, get a selfie with you. And like, it doesn't matter where you go, you get treated like that. I imagine that can be like really tough to deal with. But yeah, people who can deal with that, it's always impressive. Because really, like, it's not a harm to ask. It's just you get frustrated with kind of the way it's like you're the one who always gets asked. And to be fair, it hasn't actually been like that much. It feels like this time around. I don't know why. I've definitely seen it less. Maybe I should stop trolling, but then some of y'all will tell me that you love the trolling and that you want it to continue. Won't you? Chat, tell Make excuses for me. Yeah, I think I want to sort this thing over here out now. The problem is it means I've got to like shimmy in a lot of stone into the inventory. So let's try and give it a fair bit of space, right? We're here for the trolling, people say. Well, yeah, that's because all the people that ain't have left. Jeez. Manu CL98, thanks for passing it on and gifting a sub to Word Rubsam. Word Rubsam, you've been gifted a sub. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. And thank you as always for the gifting of the subs. The trolling is hilarious, says Hammy B. I'm glad you think so. I just want people to know that it's not personal. You know? I think that the last person might have taken it personally. I always want it just to be in good spirit. Like, it's not... I'm not trolling the person who asked. I'm just trolling the fact that I get asked all the time. You know? And that's all I'm doing here. Oh, by the way, there's a torch there because when we first cleared out this space, I came back and there were loads of mobs there, and I was like, uh-oh. Well, this certainly wasn't a tough thing to do right now. AX, got any advice on how to meditate, says Bear. I wouldn't, like... I think what you want to do is just go on YouTube and like look up some meditation advice and whatnot, or get a meditation app to get started. It can take a bit to find your way in, and I'm no qualified expert. I mean, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just trying to clear my mind of thought, and that's a very tough thing to do. So it's about just trying to refresh that sense of like being in the moment, paying attention to what you can like smell, hear, feel, sense, like even the sort of closed eye visual field. Trying to stay with all of that, and then understanding that you're going to drift off in thought, but like being able to snap back essentially and come back to it is really important. So that's what I do, and like I'm not good at it right now because I haven't kept up my practice, but really it's like it's just about trying to snap back into it and be like, hey, I'm here to meditate, let's keep doing this, you know. And it's not about too much else. So the way I've done this here isn't massively helpful. Guided meditations have helped me actually to go deeper while meditating, says Curls. Yeah, I'm not using guided at the moment, and that's how I like mostly air quotes learned. If you know, like it's learning, it's a constant process. That's mostly how I got along with it. But yeah, some of those guided ones, they really kind of like put in different ideas into your mind and like different ways of focusing, and that can be really interesting and insightful and whatnot. I think I want to put like another one of those control rooms up here. Actually, I'm not sure. I think I might go work on this side over here for a minute. I really like that texture, actually. I think I'd like to use that one a bit more. Maybe we'll use it down here. So I kind of designed a little bit of a turning of the corner over here. It looks like actually I was going to use this texture. And if we just treat it like it's a dull corner that isn't lit up, we might get away with it. It's like you got this going on here. And then I think you want to build something else over here. I also might want to take away like this crazy amount of space I've given myself for this, make it something a little simpler. Yeah, there's some features here and there that I haven't really like fully utilized. I also feel like one or two more new textures might be good. This bit doesn't look right to me over here. And like that, maybe it looks a little better. I think it just needs one or two more details. Yeah, so we need something new. I love the floor of your base. The elevation changes are marvellous, says ACLS. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Do you mean the sand, specifically this bit, perhaps? What do I want to use? Because I can't make up my mind. Oh wait, I did have an idea to use that texture from up there, but now that corner's been filled in, I'm thinking maybe not. We never used this a lot. I just remembered there's also dark iron bars, right? We can auto-craft way more of those. And maybe they could be useful. Sometimes when you put stuff in like that, it just looks like it's there to fill up empty space, you know? But it's not that bad, really. I was thinking maybe if ever you peer into this corner, it could be going from top to bottom over here. Yeah, more like that, I think. Weirdly enough, ASMR gives me anxiety. I don't know why, says Curls. Yeah, I don't like ASMR. It makes me uncomfortable. Chat, any suggestions? I'm feeling like I'm hitting a bit of a wall. Just, ooh. This texture's kind of cool. Maybe I can use that in combination with something else. I feel like I'm going to have to go back to this, but I don't want to use that. Actually, we've used it like in a fair few spots now. I think I might go back to this like nickel below, brownstone above thing again. Or maybe not. Maybe chisel some bits. I don't want to use chisel on bits. We're building on a large scale here. Where are your machines? Says Giggy. Well, they're all, you know, they're all like out of sight, out of the way. We're working on the entrance at the moment. The entrance to this whole place. Just kind of not particularly sure where to go with it. I do like the way that this brownstone stuff sort of encompasses the entrance. I mean, if there was an entrance there, if ever we wanted to expand, that would kind of line up with that. Now, since we're not going in these directions, maybe I should just continue with this stuff, like kind of blocking it all off, perhaps. Sim says we're straight in where the shadows line. Is that a reference to the music? I think it is. No, maybe I'll go with the... Ooh. Dang it, not this again. Maybe I'll go with the nickel again back here. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to go for 5. And then rip out all of this. What are these notes for? I really don't think we need that anymore. Yeah, something like that, really. And then this has got to come and link up with this, but we don't want it all to be one structure, that's for sure. What's the angled scaffolding, says Talismancer? It's called the arm. The arm is what you want to look for. Although I've got to say, like, repeating this element might have its merit. In fact, I kind of like the idea of repeating it directly opposite. And one of the key things is that you need a bit of contrast when you do that. How deep did this thing go? Like 2 blocks and then brownstone, so This might be a way forwards. And that being said, we've got to remember that that's going to put blocks like really, really close to that. But there's room. So I think we'll try this then. That gives us that. I would like the conclusion here to be a little bit different, I think. Because that looks kind of ugly at the moment. We got iron sheet metal. We do. It might be a bit much, but like, what's this stuff look like? If we leave it in the dark, could probably get away with doing something with that over there. I think what I'm going to do is have like 2 tankers here. Actually, maybe not. It's tricky stuff to figure out. X, did you make that first silo 4 wide instead of 3? I did actually, yeah. I did. Comboy's here for 58 months. Thank you so much, Comboy. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're enjoying it. Enjoying the time, watching the streams. 58 months. Goodness me. Craziness. Pulse says, oh no, he missed diamonds. Not this again. Yeah, I just don't know. No, I don't think I do want to mirror it. Oh, dang it. I'm having a bit of a hard time sussing out specifically what it is I want to do. Well, one thing's for sure, this has got to like occupy this space, it feels like. And I need to come out by 1 if I want to add any kind of like indent and lighting. So I think that's pretty much a given. Then it's about like this space to that space. Right, let's do a bit more work around here. Maybe try and come up with something a bit different in this space. I could have done with the wand, actually. That is significantly different, I think. But then at this level, I think I want to put in more of that brown stone. We're going to need to chisel some more of that. That's for sure. What kind of light source will you put there? This is really cool, says Giggy Pinos. Light sources are a little bit on the limited side because they're all so bright, which is kind of annoying. Those new frog lights that they added into the game, they're really cool. Love everything about them. I think it would be nice if maybe they weren't so strong at emitting light, just because everything seems to be like full light level by default. Well, I say that, but you've got soul lanterns and whatnot, I guess. You know what, this doesn't actually have to, like, be here. And maybe the way to go is to expand this over the top of it, because we can actually use this space vertically here. Right? Like that. Because what we want to protect is sort of hidden below. And we'll just try and build up like the big shape, and then figure out the details later on. And we're out of that. That's good. That's a good start. Yeah, now actually that's going to look quite odd. Maybe I've done this wrong. I love that we can instant mine when we're flying. So like either it's like that, which to me doesn't look right, or it's out by 1, which probably looks best. I've just remembered I was going to look something up from watching The Crown. Every time I watch The Crown, every episode I want to research it, and then like by the time I actually finish eating, get up on the computer, I completely forget what I was going to research from that show. My theory on The Crown is that have the royal family written autobiographies or whatnot, or biographies about them. I'm sure they would have written books at one point or another, and that must be the source material, because some of this stuff is just so personal, and it's like, how do they know that with certainty? What did you want to research, says Kells. I'm at season 4 where Diana and Charles are coming together, and I always used to wonder, like, and I guess I didn't wonder, maybe that's the thing, like, the royal family, to me previously it was like, I don't like the idea of a royal family, I'm not interested. Whereas now I look at it from a more historical perspective and I'm like, oh, these things happened and it's interesting what happened and want to learn more about it. And it kind of occurred to me that I didn't ever really understand who Princess Diana was, or who she was related to, or even married to. So as the show unravels a bit, like I see it coming together, because like they introduce Camilla Shand, who I knew was going to be Camilla Parker Bowles, because the other person she was involved with had that name. And I'd heard that name. I heard that like Prince Charles was married to her or something. So like I'm sort of cluing things together based on like little bits of information I know. So I didn't really know like I didn't know how Diana came to be a part of the royal family. So yeah, now I want to research events that they're portraying in the movie around how she becomes part of the royal family, essentially. Just because it's, you know, so personal and whatnot, and it makes me wonder, like, what's the source material of all of this? Didn't actually need to fill in all of that, did I? Yeah, I kind of feel like that's better for this area. It's definitely better. We've got a lighting issue out the back there, but it's far enough away at the moment. We don't actually need that anymore. We don't need this at all, so I could fill it all in. Let's go grab some stone and do that. Take care of that quickly. Their lives are public knowledge. It's the price they pay for fame. Yeah. I don't like saying, like, it's the price they pay as if they had a choice in it, because no one has a choice in where they're born, but, like, sure, we learned a lot about them by them being in the public eye. I guess maybe a lot of it was known at the time, right? Like, when I was only a kid. I was barely, like, 5, I think, when they got married or something. I don't actually know specifically when they got married, but I was trying to, like, do some math in my head earlier, watching the show and looking up stuff on Wikipedia. So, like, maybe some of this stuff was sort of just common knowledge that I'm now looking at and going, how do they know this, you know? I don't know how it all went down. I do not know. I am an ignoramus. Right, let's grab... I like that light grey texture. By the way, I should probably make some more of that. Light grey. Let's ask for 100 of those. That thing's still working. Because I got a feeling I asked for some a while ago. Yeah, it's making it. Probably asked for some, took it out. And there it is, actually. That's the stuff I'm looking for, right there. The double-edged sword of something like that instead of the price to pay. Yeah, double-edged sword, much more suitable, I think, way to describe it. You know, like when people say it comes with the territory, right? Like, I got a YouTube channel. People might, you know, look things up or whatever, and sometimes the response to that is, oh, it comes with the territory. I'm consistently getting a noise in my ear. What is that? What is that going on there? Trying to suss it out on my other thing, but it's not coming up. What is that? Why is it just going off over and over again? I'm not getting anything over here that would make sense. Oh, what's happening here? It just popped up a screen. It almost sounds like sticky keys. Oh, maybe it's not. I don't know. Hang on, wait. If I click that button, it stopped. So it is coming through the alert box, but it won't show me what it is. Has it stopped now? Yeah, it stopped. Interesting. Very peculiar. So I think what I'll do now is grab like another one of these for this next area. Right, and then the vents. Right, I think it's a lab block. Peter Pistol, thank you ever so much for subscribing with the Prime. Greatly appreciated, my dude. Hope you're entertained, enjoying the stream, and thank you so much for the support. Crackling seems to be back, though, says Curls of Doom. Interesting you say that, because we tried to fix it today. Had a suggestion on what to do, and I guess immediately we'll know if it works or not. What's the best way for me? Probably to play like a music disc, or just activate a sound over and over again. Let me know if that's crackling bad. It's back. Was it there earlier in the stream? Because if it's capable of appearing mid-stream, that's interesting as well. All of this would be valuable information in diagnosing it. Very curious. Can't yet nail down what causes that, oddly. Right, so I guess with what we're currently doing, we've created a bunch of shelf space, if you want to call it that, for having some details and whatnot. Let's get back down here again and get a feel for it all. I mean, you can barely see it up there, so that's kind of cool. The darkness works in our favour. However, I do need to get more of those lamps in this area, not those ones. They must be called lights. I thought they were called lamps. Oh, you know what? I got some here, so... It's a lantern! Dang it! Dang it, all these different lighting things. When you place blocks down, it's crackling. Yeah, the question is, was it doing that earlier? At the beginning of the stream? I'll have to go back and listen. I'll tell you what, it'll be on there on the second channel, so we can do that. I can do that, you know. I can go back and check. It's not an issue. So I feel like I want light. Yeah, I want to kind of do this again. So let's grab some of that and see if we can't mirror that a little bit. It'll definitely look different here, won't it? Maybe... Well, that's not good. Maybe just have two. 1, 2... it's kind of like... oddly positioned. Somehow, I don't know, just doesn't look all that. But if we mirror it around the corner here, it might work out. Oh, and another thing about the crown, I'm also finding like the portrayal of Margaret Thatcher really interesting because, again, I know not a lot about her other than I was told that she was a horrible person, and maybe some of the things she did might make you think that, but I find that, you know, the truth isn't black and white, and that if you just box someone into a simple explanation, there's a lot more about them you could learn and know about. And the way the show's setting up and explaining some of the events that happen with her, I'm now like really quite interested in like perhaps learning how she run the government from a different perspective, right? I'm gonna put that there, I think. Maybe make him too tall again? Bit of consistency or whatever. Do we have any naturally sloped blocks? Because I just occurred to me, I kind of remember seeing one that was slope. She invented soft serve ice cream on Mr. Whippy. Really? Oh, what was it that I saw the other day that had a sloped... And what would they call it if not a slope? I mean, triangle comes to mind. Gutch Kicker says, "Hey X, I love the content you put out. Where can I find info on the new Hermitcraft server release?" There is no info on the new Hermitcraft server release. That information apparently does not exist. Slanted, Grey Wolf, dang. Wedge, okay, we've got some of y'all are clever. Slanted, nope. Wedge, and quite a few of them. Missing pieces, eh? So, what if I were to take a material like that and use it in this area? Or maybe like cyan, yeah, that one. Now, I think we have the ability to make Terra Cotta. We do. So if I do that, then we have the ability to make all of this too. Cool. Maybe we'll just chuck this stuff in here. So it's going to be a little bit dull, but what if we were to just have this in the area? That's pretty cool. I don't actually need to do it there, do I? It's quite nice having a slope of this texture. I don't know why. It makes me think of mini games, like, I don't know, some sort of platform you have to climb up and down. Doesn't the conveyor have a slope piece? Yeah, it does. It does. I've resisted any kind of like animated mechanical blocks around this area though. So you're probably barely going to see much of that shape. So we need something up there to kind of illuminate that this is here. But it would be kind of tricky to do. And I think I might just leave the slope at that level, because it kind of eclipses this bit kind of alright. So we would have that going all the way across. Bring that up to there, and then come out a little bit further, perhaps. Have something else in this space. Yeah, so I think switching it over to something else is a smart idea. What one haven't we used in a while? We could have some raw brownstone up here. I think I haven't barely used plain stone, so we'll go with that one. Something like that. Oh yeah, these blocks don't need to be here. Peeps are liking the look of the texture. It's a nice one, isn't it? It's a nice one. So yeah, then there's the question of how far along do we use it for? Like maybe it could come out to here, and then that stone wall could come over a little closer. But let's get the lighting in, so maybe what I could do, if I had a lantern here and here, would that illuminate it correctly? That kind of does. Kind of gives just the right sort of balance to it. Hey X, a few months ago you were discussing about 9/11. There was a poll asking whether 9/11 was an internal job. At the time I refused, but now I think it may be an internal job. Well, what's changed your mind on that then? Because if I remember correctly, the results of that poll were pretty in the favour of it not being. If you go to Google and you type, was it an inside job? Remember, it's gonna, like, your searching is biased. It's going to put information in front of you that matches what you searched for, right? Do you know what? That light there looks so odd now. I'm going to have to get rid of it. Looks so wrong. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Could potentially put another one on that bit, but so far the balance is pretty good. I feel like this is probably missing a little something. Maybe we could go back to that water pipe idea. And if we... that's not what it's called. A pump? Yes, that's the one. And then I need my other lights, which are right there. So, like... I've now realised that I've left these here the whole time. But I think we'll be good without them. A little bit dark just there, so... maybe some sort of light on the corner could help with that. That roof looks proper industrial, says Carls. That's what we're going for. That's good. There are a few raw video clips of the explosions going off with no planes at all. There's 100 grand. Yeah, so what you might be referring to is that like once the planes have hit, you know, there's now a plane inside of that building, there's tons of fire and jet fuel, and then at some point combustion might occur. Now what I would remind you is that unless you have got like an educational background in, I don't know, many things, I really don't know what the... See, I can't even call up what the fields might be. So if you're like me and it's like, I don't even know what field of study this is called, then maybe it's not a great thing to have an opinion on. But like, I don't know how different fuels explode and combust, and I don't know what they do in environments like towers with tons of steel inside or having wind blown into them. So if you can find an expert that tells you all about it, you're probably also going to be able to find an expert that will tell you, no, that other person is a quack and they're wrong. So like, what do you do then? That's when I tend to default to the side of, well, if this thing was an inside job, it's a heck of a lot of people that would have to keep hush. Doesn't mean you can't keep people hush, but it just seems kind of bizarre that something like that could have so many people on it. Pyrochemist, says Longor. Pyrochemist. 100 grand says, I'm saying the initial collision. Alright, so like, you know, how much footage of aeroplanes crashing into buildings have you seen? And how much do you have to see to be an expert on it? Like, it's really easy to take information like that and attach other ideas to it, is essentially what I'm getting at. And one needs to like know the limits of their own understanding on these things. And that other people can come in with, you know, agendas or different ideas and try and sell you on this thing being not what you see. I remember being like really convinced once and having an argument with my old boss. I say an argument, it was you know, a spirited discussion. And I was so convinced that it was an inside job and that like that the towers fell because of explosions at the bottom. And now when I go back and look at the footage and I really like try and pay attention to it, it's like it doesn't look like the tower implodes. Actually, I can't remember which way around it is even. If I remember correctly, it doesn't look like the tower imploded at the bottom, like they say, like it's a demolition. It kind of looks like it falls from where the plane hit. But then again, it's like grainy VHS footage, right? Shaky camera, zooming in from ages away. Like, this isn't like a great measure of figuring things out. And again, like, I don't have any expertise on how buildings fall down. It's just put your own ignorances forth, and it's enlightening. Hey X, you're such a philosophical, friendly hermit. Carry on being you. Oh, thank you. I was in that camp too. I was watching a lot of Fox News at the time, which I come to realise is just propaganda. Yeah, Fox News has got a reputation of being very, I don't know, maybe misleading, or probably the better way to put it is very like of a particular viewpoint. And so sometimes you see things on it where it's like, seems like they're twisting the truth a little bit. The problem with all that stuff is there's always a nugget of truth, even in some of the most heinous of lies, and it's, you know, just using information as a weapon a lot of the time. But you know, the thing is, if you spend your life watching Fox News and you haven't sort of come outside of that viewpoint, then all the things they say just keep buying into this worldview. And a lot of the things they do on Fox News is more centered around like a worldview than it is like reporting facts. You know, I like it when you see news where you're given information without an opinion attached to it, which can be hard to find, because sometimes the way in which an opinion, or sorry, the information is delivered is essentially an opinion. I find most news twists facts too much for my taste, says Lofty Cuboid. I tend to feel like that. Everything I read it with a little bit of grain of salt. Especially in America, I feel like when you see like CNN and Fox News, like they're almost one and the same. They're just playing for a different team, if you want to word it like that, you know? Oh, I'm reminded that we had these textures to play around with. Maybe now's the time to introduce them. So like, you know, if you look at the reporting on the same story on different networks, it's almost like they're talking about a different story sometimes. But like, if you're on like, if you consider yourself on one side or the other, it's really hard to see how your side is essentially, I don't like using that term because I think the whole thinking about it in terms of sides is not healthy, but how like, you know, that left or right is also being spun to you. So like, it feels like a lot of stories and events that happen in the world today, it's harder to really get a understanding of what's going on because you just get like things spun, and I think it's dangerous when either side does it. It's really hard to find pure objective newspaper. Sorry, wait, what am I reading? It's really hard to find pure objective news. I saw a chart graphing how certain channels and newspapers lean one way or the other, and it was eye-opening. Even what I considered unopinionated skewed a bit by one or the other, says Reese's. Yeah, I've seen some of those charts floated around a little bit here and there. But also, you know, even seeing charts like that, it's like someone has to create that, and is their opinion of it or their methodology for getting that information like true, if that can be applied, as that can be a word. That can be a little tricky to figure out as well. Not to continuously like throw doubt in every direction, but it's just like, you know, an awareness of bias everywhere. I noticed that on Reddit, like so often do these like studies get shared about how people on the right are rah rah rah, and it's like, I don't really need to know like what this study is about. It's the fact that it's being shared every time there's something that goes, oh, you know, like again with the sides and the opposition, but that's essentially what's going on, right? Like, oh, the other side of this, and it gets shared. And so like, if you write a story about how, if I wrote a story, right, and I had this I don't know, like some sort of study or whatever was done to back it up. Maybe this study was a bad study, maybe it was a good study, but if it was like, my study result was, turns out Republicans and Democrats have way more in common than they realize. And you know, and then listing off a bunch of things that they have in common. What defines the top texture here? I don't know. Some of them have different top textures. Anyway, you know, that's not going to get shared, basically, right? Like, if I come out with some article saying, you know, Democrats and Republicans have more in common than they realize, that's not going to make it on the front page of Reddit. Like, there's just, bias exists in so many different directions. Like, and it's not to like essentially paint bias as being terrible or bad. Just being aware of it is what's important. Just understanding that, you know, even scientific data has bias. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I could probably make one up. Like, hey, I surveyed 1,000, how many people? 660 peeps are tuning in. Be sure to hit that follow button, especially if you love the waffle. I'm getting a waffle emote worked on, by the way, so that's in the works. Turns out, 660, you know, people out of 660, 100% love Xisuma streams. Do they? Well, what's the demographic of that polling? Oh, it was an Xisuma stream that you got it from. Wow. I'm assuming you'll love this. Some of you be like, it's mediocre, X. I'm here because I got nothing better to do. Oh, God, you make me feel so sad now. Yeah, it could be, you know, like, oh, we've conducted a study. Well, how's that study conducted? Galaxy Dwarf, thank you ever so much for the Prime. It's me, Adari. Thank you for the Prime as well for 2 months. Appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate you subscribing. Billy chooses, is there a world download? Not for this world yet. I've seen those studies about right-wingers being shared on Reddit. I think they often are badly sourced, I think. It's always like one account posting them. Yeah, I don't even go and look at what the studies are. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't want this to be the way I think about the world. Because all of this stuff is like so difficult and complex, I rather like lean on some simple principles of like realizing I genuinely think people have way more in common than they realize. You can get along with strangers because you like the same band and you turned up at the show or whatever, and then all of a sudden, you know, people can be getting along over shared interests and values, and then you inject politics and it's like, oh, apparently we don't like each other now. I just prefer to appeal to the better nature that I think we all have. Talbar says, well, as a scientist myself, we do have to think about the way we do our experiments. Oh, for sure. Yeah, of course you do. But like, it's like, you know, there's air quotes bad science, right? I mean, if someone disagrees with you, they might throw that term your way, but essentially, like, if you're a scientist and you know that, that's great, but maybe some scientists don't fully embrace that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Sponsored science, says Mockingbird. Yeah, there's that, you know. Got to be careful, like where you throw that though, because that's, you know, that can be a talking point sometimes. Big science or whatever. Like they go, you know, big pharma and all that. It's, well, to what level? But again, so much of this like requires us having opinions on things we know very little about. I don't like the thought that conspiracy equals right wing. I think people forget that there are reasons to be left or right wing beyond the stereotypes everyone associates with each side. Absolutely, Penguin. Yeah, spot on. I think the reason why it's like that right now is because of events like the January 6th event, and then how the Republican Party has sort of like unified around dismissing it, I guess. And it seems to me like it's something that's indismissible. But, you know, I'm always sort of sympathetic to people who go out and campaign for something or protest or demonstrate. And I'm not saying therefore I say it's okay. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you go out there and do that, you're probably very passionate about something, and maybe that's something that I should listen to or at least understand. Like, there's a reason you come out here. I don't like just straight up a dismissal of people doing that. So, like, if you think about the events of January 6th, I'm pretty convinced that people thought they were doing the right thing, especially if you take what Trump said in the build-up to it, the words that he said in his speech. And if you take it at face value and just, you know, let's go ahead with it and say it's true, you could perhaps understand why people behaved in the way that they did immediately after. And to me, it's kind of worrying because I fall on the side of looking at it like it's an attack against democracy. And if you're on that side, you might look at it like you're trying to defend democracy. And it's very, very polarized and very tricky and difficult to navigate that. Raven Monster says, one word for Jan 6, stupid. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't summarize it like that. One, because it's quite a complex situation with many things that could be said about it. And two, I feel like it's unhelpful if you want to be able to reach people who perhaps are sympathetic to what happened that day. I mean, I'm in no way saying those events are acceptable. I'm just trying to break it down. And like, if you look at it through the eyes of people involved, it looks like a different situation. But to me, it's mad how like the whole party has sort of united in dismissing it. Essentially, it's crazy how the political situation is working out over there. It's kind of scary because you kind of. I don't know, actually, I say it's scary, like, it's really weird, because I've sort of been growing up learning about how America goes around bullying Southern American countries and instituting dictatorships that favour them down there, and then you have a sort of emotional attachment, maybe, to the idea of, like, America, the land of the free and great. I don't know, it's like, everything's crazy, having opinions and trying to learn about what the world is and what's going on. Like, some of y'all will know what I mean. I don't want to paint it as like anti-American sentiment, but like, there are some rather unfavourable things that happen in the name of countries. All countries get involved in wars and other heinous things at one point or another. It's weird how, like, I can know all of that, but yet I can still have... This is doublethink right here. This is, like, again, you know, I've learned or been exposed to information showing the dark side of America, air quotes, like bad things the government's been involved in. And even though I know that, I don't know how to weigh it up with, like, the idea of democracy and the free world. And so, on one hand, you know about these events, you think they're terrible, and then on another, you're like concerned for the state of that country and the politics that enabled some of those things to happen, like wars in other countries and whatnot. It's all just weird. It's all weird. Am I making any sense, chat? Did that make, like, any sense to any of you? Because I feel, like, pretty mad saying that out loud. Essentially just saying, look at me, I double think. But I genuinely believe double thinking is something we're all capable of doing. Just got to catch yourself doing it. Shinny says, yeah, it makes sense, I feel the same way. A few of you are saying that. That's nice to hear, actually. Because there's all this stuff that you have to know about, like, you know, Native Americans and how like, terribly they were treated when people were coming over and first establishing the Americas, and like, all of these things just, like, don't sort of add up when you think about it. What's doublethink, says Calamity Gan? Doublethink is like the ability to hold opposing views in your mind at the same time. So I was just kind of pointing out that I just realised that I have sort of like an emotional response to what's going over there, of being worried and seeing, I guess in your mind, seeing like the idea of a glorious nation of democracy and freedom, right? And then also holding information that's like, oh, I know about how they used to go and bully all these Southern American countries, and the CIA would go in and initiate, or what's the term, instate, like different leaders that were more favourable to the American cause, and like military interventions all around the world for like geopolitical reasons. It's like, I hate all that stuff, and yet I can have this other idea in my mind as well. It's weird. It's because there's just a lot of information, and a lot of information out there tries to influence you as well. I feel like I need more detail blocks over here. I don't know quite what to go with, but something's needed up. I'll tell you what, we put a bunch of stuff in here. The British have, at some point in history, invaded and established a military presence in 171 countries. There you go, Conboy. That's an alarming statistic, right? An alarming statistic. But like, that's a Britain of a different age, right? We wouldn't be doing that today. Although we still hold on to a lot of colonial relations, if I guess you could call it that. What's this block? Blast furnace preheater. I want more of these. I want 3 of those. I'm ordering them. I'm ordering on the old Amazon next day delivery right there. Bring those, please. Hey, we've done a fair bit so far. Oh, they're too wide. I thought they were. Well, we could do that up here. Looks kind of cool. Another 3 then, I guess. Swole Tariatoli says the freedom we tout in the West is just the freedom to exploit others. I can understand how you see it that way. I'd be quite sympathetic to that way of seeing things. It makes sense to me. Oh look, it's got like a thing where it ejects a bit of a shape into the block behind it. But those colonial relations that Britain has today are more civilized than relations US has. I don't think I can even reply to that because I don't fully, wouldn't even know where to start with that. Like how do you weigh that or figure that one out? Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Clear up a bit more of that as we go into these spaces. Very nice. Yeah, so I feel like there should be like, it obviously has to go higher than that, so maybe we'll introduce like a ledge here. This will certainly make it different to what I've done before. I used to often stress and think about politics. Now I'm older, I just don't care anymore, says Talbar. When I was younger, I was very like, it's all rigged, it's all corrupt and whatnot. And now that I'm older, I'm more like inquisitive and want to learn, I think. But it can be very tiring and stressful, absolutely. I think that's why I like learning or like listening to podcasts where it's not too heavily political and it's more about like learning about something with politics attached, even though the thing that you might be learning about is like, I don't know, financial systems or things very close to politics. Did you see Oliver Stone on JRE? Some fishy stuff around JFK, says Termin. Yeah, I've been very tuned out of JRE since the pandemic and all the opinions on COVID. I find, I you know, not to go deep into it, but I feel like he's suffering from having a viewpoint and trying to find things that back it up. And just the same old regurgitated ideas over and over again, bringing it up with lots of guests and whatnot. It's just not really enjoying that aspect of it. So I haven't really been tuning in as much. But, you know, if there's something interesting... Hey Fenno, welcome to the chat, my dude. If there's something interesting, like, that pops up on YouTube for the Clips channel, then I'll tune in and have a listen. And if he starts talking about COVID, I'll tune out. So I saw the clip, 15-minute one with Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone is a really fascinating person. I've watched some interviews with him talking about his movies, like Natural Born Killers, and dang, some of the stuff he had to say about that movie was just totally fascinating. Anyway, the JFK stuff, yeah, like, that's one of those conspiracy theories that's been very persistent, and has kind of stuck around, air quotes, for quite some time, and I never delved too deep into it, but I know people that have and have expressed opinions on it. It really feels like the official version of events surely can't be true, you know, in a nutshell. And there's just so much bizarreness around all of that. Feels like, you know, maybe their attempt to cover it up was like really botched, and so the official version of events doesn't like really line up with much, but you know, they've held on to it. I also, I don't know if it's like a bias that I just haven't encountered it, but I rarely see people defending and saying no, the official version is the truth. I've rarely seen that opinion, but maybe I just haven't sought it out, you know. It happened such a long time ago, right? That's a conspiracy that has become a part of pop culture in the meantime, says Curls. Yeah, very much. There's a few others like that that sort of penetrate a broader audience. I remember one about Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love being quite prevalent. I remember being introduced to that by my English teacher. Yeah, that's a memory right there. I remember my English teacher introducing me to the idea that that was a conspiracy and telling me to like look into it, and then I looked into it, and you know, back then at the time I was air quotes convinced. I don't know, such a long time I learned about the details, but there's a lot of suggestion that the details and stuff don't line up. I met the woman who was in the outhouse the JFK killer lived in at the time of the assassination, says Dark Wolf. Right, which assassin are we talking about? Isn't there like multiple shots, and then there's that Patsy guy that they tried to put the blame on, and I don't even know, like, I've never gotten deep into the JFK one. It just, I don't know, like, I think it's the fact that he was obviously assassinated. It's almost like, does it really matter that, like, it's an inside job or not? It's, well, I guess it does, because it has huge implications if it came from the government, but it's like, he got assassinated, that's almost like a conspiracy in itself, right? Like, if you're assassinated, there is a conspiracy to assassinate you. So it feels like it's a given already, if that makes sense. If that makes any sense at all. Like, perhaps that's one of the reasons I haven't bothered to look into it so much, is just because, well, he was assassinated. Like, obviously there's a conspiracy. Right? Like, if it's the government or someone else, there was a conspiracy. And that conspiracy unfolded. Oh, look at that. We've put in some symmetry there. This area, though, I don't really want to light it up that much, but it needs something subtle going on. That's probably not the way to do it. There needs to be some other lighting around here. I think maybe I'm just going to put like a pump again with a light on top. Yeah, there's no debate that it was something going on to have led to the JFK thing, says Shinny. Yeah, because, you know, he was assassinated, so, like, obviously there is a conspiracy. The discussion is maybe who, but, or what group of people. I don't know if leaving, like, too random like that is a good way to do it, but maybe if we have several random around here, it might just aid the feeling of this place a little bit more, that there's a bunch of them. They make these ones look less like they're here for the entrance and more just kind of random. So I might get rid of them. Yeah, I think that's a smart move. Thanks a lava in the sheet metal, says just Timmy Toe. I kind of can't be bothered to fill up any of these again. It was just a bit of work, really. Right, so this is going to go back here, and then give us a ton of like empty space around here that I don't quite know what I'm going to do with yet. But I am pretty happy with everything so far, I will say. We've done a heck of a lot here, actually. What I need to do is put something else above this bit. Right, and I need more of that brownstone. And I could do with getting rid of some of these. The question is... I want to use that at some point. The question is what to get rid of. This music's so good, isn't it? Hook Mister says, can you show everything you built here? Looks like a lot. You know what? It would take a while to show everything, but how about I whiz round the place, right? Like we're in the factory area. The idea was to work on the inside today, and then as I jumped into it, it just, I don't know, I moved towards the outside. There's just so much stuff here. Like I'm not going to go over every little bit in detail, but the idea was to fill it up. But this is the latest part of our base, and everything below here is finished. So this is the molecular assembler room where all the auto crafting happens. And then this is the origin of the base, where we started up in this room with sieves and whatnot. And then everything like expanded out into these corridors, with little machine rooms for automation. And then other projects like we got an automatic die creating system, a loot bag opener. Over here, portals to other dimensions, rooms for automating Ender IO, automating AE2. The idea is to put a bunch of automation projects sort of on display and make them look interesting. We have another one of those right here for... That's the stuff that makes the brownstone that we're using, I think. End portal room, mystical agriculture room. The trick though with a base like this, I think, is like navigation. We end up just staying in one area a lot, and it's nice to like move through it. So yeah, there's just projects everywhere really. All these different parts and bits that you can visit, and things happening here and there. This bit's pretty cool. Look at that. And then there's stuff like the mob farm that's in a massive room like this that we never see. Speaking on projects, I was looking at the list. Like I want to do something with a slime farm for the fun of it soon. As we've been moving around the base, I was like trying to keep an eye on the biome. I think it tells you if you're in a slime chunk or not. Yeah, there you go. Slime. So if I found a slime chunk, we might build a slime farm. Hook Mister says, damn, looks insane. How long have you had this server for? It's a single player world. And we're on day 1792. So that's how long the world's been running for. However, I have had plenty of AFK sessions. The series is on its 58th day today, so that's like usually 2 to 3 hours of streaming. So let's say like 100 to 150 hours, which is crazy to say out loud. Right, I want another material again. I feel like it'd be nice to bring this one back in some capacity. Slime factory, slime farm in the factory area or reactor of sort. What we'll do with the slime farm is we'll dig out a chunk top to bottom so that we can exploit the bottom of the world spawning in 1.12. We'll do that. Let me just add a few more blocks. And so the farm itself will be at the very bottom of the world and won't really be a part of any base. So we'll just have like a transport tube thing to take you there. I think it helps sometimes just to change up the heights a little bit. So then maybe we'll jump back to andesite since it's on my hotbar. I remember Stoneblock 2, my quarantine project, playing for 300 hours in a month or two, says Ankmaniac. That's a lot of hours right there. Been putting in similar hours myself. It seems, well, half the amount. Let's go grab that concrete again, that grey one. Although if I don't have it, I'll tell you what I did do. I requested more of it, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. So grab that and turn it into that one right there. Again, you're always going to see that. It's going to be up there in the darkness. We need to work on eliminating some light from over here, I've just realised. So, we're not using that. Done with that one. Stone is what we want down here on the hotbar. Along with these other things. Don't know what they're doing there. Okay, and now we want some stone. Oops. Ah, it doesn't work. I love vanilla, but the inventory and building stuff in modded is so good, says ACXI Twitch. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, really. It's like, constantly makes me want to play vanilla in creative mode. Just so I can whiz around and build, you know? Ah, interesting how that alignment has worked out. I think what I'm going to do is that, so I can expand it at another time, perhaps. Right, that should, yep, give us complete darkness-ish. You can still actually see some of the light on the other side. So it's not just about preventing it, is it? Very, very good. Although we really don't see a lot of that up there. Like, this is almost pointless, but I don't want to put light anywhere. I tell you what I could do. I could put a little bit of light somewhere with the old chisel and bits, right? Lunar Eclipse, thank you ever so much for subscribing with the Prime. Appreciate it, and hope you're enjoying the stream. Thank you. Oh yeah, I guess we'll do that. Yeah, I don't want that to go back too far, really. Let's extend this. This will be the last of this one, I think. Maybe then what I can do is have the next thing sort of come out by one. I kind of like the idea of bringing back a metal off here in the distance. Don't know if I'm really going to do too much with it. Actually, it might be kind of cool to put some lighting over here. Yeah, so that's going to come across. Oh, or not. What do we need? We need more of that. And we have very little left. Let's chisel it up. Hey, we got noises in the air. We got gifted subs here. It's Idyllic Valhalla. How did I? Oh wait, we went over this one the other day. Idyllic Valhalla. You knew I was going to butcher it. Dang, so sorry. Kazul 5, Cherry Lena, Kyrelis, Axiogenesis, and Kunjar. Be sure to say thanks in the chat for the gifted sub. And Idyllic Valhalla, thank you again. Please forgive me for the butchering of the Valhalla. I was going to try and make a joke like, may 4 forgive me or something, but like my brain just went, Vikings, I want to bring back that lead sheet metal. Like, we had a little viewing thing all the way over on the other side. Wonder if putting one over here would be kind of cool. Might be more trouble than it's worth. Yeah, there might be a interesting spot for it over here, although it kind of, I don't know, like that feels like it looks over the area a bit more. This just looks a bit out of step. Maybe I won't make it quite the same dealio. But yeah, opportunities to put more light is what I'm thinking. essentially. More light about the place. Right, so then I need more something or other back here. More of this, maybe? Crow Chris says, last sub he misread mine as Cow Chris. Now, streamer can't read moment. Oh, Crow Chris. God, I'm so bad. Please forgive me. Really bad with pronouncing the words, but I am trying to get better. I had to pronounce a new one the other day with the addition of okra. I looked up the pronunciation, and the problem was is that I initially read it and said okri, and man, I had to do so many takes. So many takes, it was stupid. I just had to keep doing it over and over again, and I kept saying okri, or whatever the first thing it says, okri. But then eventually I got it drilled into my head. No, it's okra. Okra, okra, okra. No, yeah, okra. See, even now I'm doubting myself. Okra, it's definitely okra, peeps. Alright? Okra like okra. My friend Oprah... Okay. See, I think a couple of windows up here might help. Oh, this should probably all be like one block higher as well. For the windows. Right, so it'd be like... Oh wait. Actually, was I wrong there? It's 3 by 2. I was wrong. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Let's go here. I just had a thought. I'm going to go check something. Sorry if I went all quiet then. I've got to go look something up quickly. You know how when suddenly you realise that a channel that you follow hasn't uploaded in a while? I just noticed that H3 hasn't uploaded for 2 weeks. Don't ask me why, but like it popped into my head. But then again, it's Christmas holidays, that's probably it. Probably the Christmas holidays, right? Yeah, these windows are kind of close to this stuff, so I'm going to have to like probably decorate it a little better. So we need some glass now. And I think that's the stuff that I used on the other side. So then what we've got to do is turn this into a proper box. So that if you came over here, it would be an actual room. Now we need some more. Doesn't H3 have another lawsuit? Yeah, the whole God, what's that guy's name? I know who he says he looks like. Guy who owns Trella. I you know, I've vaguely followed that. Like, to me, that joke just kind of died off a little quick. Well, I guess to him it's probably not a joke, but like, I think he very dangerously flirts with that line between comedy and harm. And I almost wouldn't be surprised if a ruling maybe went against his favour. If you do watch the H3 podcast, know what I'm talking about, if you only hear about that case from one side, it can sound very you know, one way. If you hear about it from another perspective too, it can sound another way. I'm not sure like what's going on there is as cut and dry as he would like it to be, but I am not a lawyer or an expert on any of this stuff. It's just, I don't know, I could see it, I wouldn't be surprised if things didn't go the way he thinks it's gonna go. Personally, I'd stand on the side of like comedy and humor is to be protected, but it's like the problem with free speech is like, are you free to shout fire in a crowded room when there's no fire? Like, it can be the things you can say can be dangerous, and at some point or another that has to be decided upon. Most of the time that's done by like a legal system of some sort. And so if this legal system deems actually what you're saying is slander and whatnot, then you could be in big trouble. Smartin says, yeah, I know a little about it. I agree it could easily go both ways. Actually, in the States, at least you're not free to shout fire in a movie theatre. Yeah. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of responsibility from that speech, says Caspian. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Kind of like the way you see the top of it there. I feel like that kind of works. Definitely going to have to put like way more detail and shapes up in and around this area now, but that is fine by me. What I want to do here is drag this out this direction. Maybe go one further. Actually, I think I'll go one further again and then have another texture between them. I think I'm going to go with plain stone since there's some here. That one go up to there. I don't know, I feel like maybe you're going to want to see something higher up there. I might use that basalt again actually for the next bit. That's the one, big tile. So can we get more of that big tile? Why can't I see the big tile, yo? Me no see no big tile. Just looking in all the wrong places. Right, let's try and whiz through it a bit quicker. It's the one I got selected. At the point that I choose to go for all of them one by one, it's the one I've got selected. Isn't that just the way? I think what I might do here is drag this all the way over to there and then, yeah. I tried to stop them from going level with one another, but that I think is okay. Looks a bit rough. But now I quite like that. It's pretty good. So this bit here, not sure what's going on with it. I think I'm just going to get lazy and do that. Steel! We need more steel. We still need more steel. That's what we need. Still need it. Dang, we've done a lot today. Done a lot. I like it. Right, I feel like something with a light source around here would be not a bad idea. Have you considered a diamond block for a night sky? No, we actually... no, I think we did now to think about it. I think my thoughts were that the diamond block isn't the right one to use, but some sort of... like something up there that pops out in the darkness could be the way to do it. The problem is that it's... like, if I put something up there, it's not visible because it's dark. So if I want it to be visible, I therefore have to build a black ceiling. And it makes it much harder to have these things sort of fade out and drift off like they currently do. So I think the approach that we got right now is the one that I'm going to stick with, essentially. Right, we're in the need of more, like, I'm going to put back all the full blocks and try and focus on getting a bunch. Now those are actually one I could do with. Scaffolding, maybe some of those. Let's try and find some details that we can put into this area. Hey look, there's end steel bars as well. I haven't used those. Dark steel doors? Yeah, one of the things... What did I just put back that I actually need? I can't remember. Do y'all want to hear a story about my monitors that happened today? It's quite amusing. It's a long story though, because it goes way back. Story time of X. To those of you that follow me on Twitter, plug. You'll already know about this. That could easily fit into this area somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Maybe actually like here. Yeah, little things like that do tend to go a ways. So, I got some monitors for my computer earlier this year. No, sorry, I think actually they might be like around a year old, because it's probably last January when I redid this room that I ordered them. They are Yamaha HS8s. I didn't get a subwoofer with it. These are like pretty expensive audio monitors for producing music on and listening to music on. Got a recommendation from Ren, who's like, look, trust me, these are amazing, just buy them, you'll love them. And I got them, and dang, they sounded absolutely awful. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, something's off here. Like, I can't have brought these expensive monitors and somehow they sound rubbish. Like, I could play certain songs for it and they would literally sound garbled. And it was almost like running it through a really low quality MP3 compression or something like that. It was ridiculous. I was just like, what is this? Like, well, why does it sound like this? Anyway, bunch of research and whatnot, I figured out that what I have is like, and I can't really even remember the details to recite it correctly, but like some sort of active and passive wire system, and that my mixer was not outputting the right type of signal, so I needed to get some form of like adapter, and that thing is called a dual channel direct injection box, right? So if ever you've tried to like diagnose some audio problems before, that's a term. I didn't even know that term existed. I was just like, what? I need a what? What's going on here? Hello? It was mad. So I got one. Not, you know, I had to do a lot of kind of like wing it research where I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm on the right path or not, but this might be a solution. Read a bunch of stuff, looked at a bunch of things that I could get on Amazon, and kind of went for it. Right, got this little box, plugged it in, wired it up, and the audio sounds better now. That's it. It's fixed it. Okay, it's much better. And the audio quality was good, but like it didn't feel quite as special as Ren made it out to be, and it could go really loud and sound good. So I was like, okay, I got it fixed. Didn't think anything of it. Anyway, today I'm doing my deep clean on the office room here, which honestly was not a lot of a deep clean because I keep it so clean anyway. I know what to do over here. So yeah, anyway, I'm cleaning my desk and I just nudged the box as I pick it up. I'm not even sure what I did. And I even tried to like undo it after by like clicking some buttons on it and stuff. But all of a sudden it like popped. I heard a click. And immediately the music that I was listening to sounded like it had gone from 3D to 4D. I was listening to Aurora and it was like the stereo all of a sudden sounded really vivid. I could hear... It felt like there was depth in what I was hearing. It really did just pop and sound amazing. And I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what has happened here? Like, all of a sudden it sounds amazing. And yeah, I then started like going back and listening to some records I've listened to over the recent months, and a fair few of them, the more modern ones, sounded really good. Some of the older records kind of sounded a bit, you know, dingy like they did before. But like, just so odd, just so weird. It's like, okay, so this thing like wasn't properly configured for some time, and then I accidentally nudge it and make it sound amazing. I mean, no complaints, it sounds amazing, so I'm all for that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm all for it. I think I've, in my mind, labelled this thing as the vent when it's called large steel. I like the idea of it connecting to somewhere, but I just don't know where. Also, I think putting basalt up here is a bit of a mistake, because it kind of looks like you're just seeing over the top. Actually, it's kind of good, because the whole thing is like the night sky anyway, is the idea. So, if you see the like last lines or not, I'm actually realising that over there I can see this. And that's something that I can't actually remove now that I think about it. It might be a good idea for me to enclose this with something going all the way to the ceiling now I think about it. Because if I could keep pushing that back, then eventually you wouldn't see the edge. Like, do you see how you don't see any edges? But you do there. So that's a little bit of a problem. Anyway, what did you think of my story? On a scale of 1 to 10, how thrilling and exciting was it to hear about me nudging a weird sounding audio cable box? God, I bet you want another story now, didn't you? I wonder if something like that would look kind of cool in here. I think it's probably... Nah, it's probably not going to work. All that. Maybe just leave them on at that level like that. I will say this looks a bit dull. I also feel like its pattern should repeat over to here. Let's take care of that. I got a 10. I got a papilla out of 10. Don't know what that means. Talking about audio, the crackling is back. Did it go away for a while and then come back again? Peeps, did it sort of go away and come back? Because we took note of it being there earlier. I don't know if we're commenting on the same thing or if it's sort of been and gone. Right, what other little blocks? Dark steel bars might have a spot. And more of these, I think. More of these for sure. They're kind of always at the higher up level. Oh yeah, that shelf there is completely in need of some stuff, isn't it? I think I might leave this bit here now. That's okay. We just need to do this, which, to be fair, it's in a lot of darkness, so I can probably get away. What is the width here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, should be able to do something with that. That kind of looks all good. Then maybe over here. A few of these again. And I dare say, my friends, that is passable. I don't know about complete, but definitely passable. I wonder if... What other blocks do we have like that? Because there's a different variation now. I feel like I need one more block. And we've almost got it. Oh yeah, I wanted to use that somewhere. Probably actually isn't really a spot for that now. AC units on the roof. Something that looks like an AC unit or something that would be on a roof. Like, what if I were to... What's that like? What's that block like? It's a weird looking thing, that. I think that may just about work there. The fan block that we talked about, or just chiseled into a different block, could go in that little spot. Is that a transparent fan? I don't want a transparent fan. Oh, that. Maybe not actually. Let's have the one there. Knocking those monitors was the most fortunate derp in history, says Curls. It pretty much was, wasn't it? I feel like those coils should emit light, so Shinny. They probably would look good with light, but we're putting them in places where we don't want the light anymore, so I ain't gonna do that. You know what? Let's give it a try. Yeah, I think I might have a few of these up here, and then that might just be it. So we need to do sand all the way around here. Goodness me, it's a lot of sand. Otherwise, I think you might be looking at a finished product. I've got to say, I think there's probably a little too much light in this spot here. Maybe if I took that one out. Oh, there you go. That's nicer. And then maybe a little bit lacking in this area. And I'm not sure how best to fix that. If I put a light source on top of it, it's probably going to be a bit much. It's not too bad lighting up a fair bit of that, but it's just not right. Now, I wanted to avoid doing this. I could have that there. I feel like that's actually pretty good. That's pretty balanced. Yeah. That's it. And you know what? When you look up there and you see that line, it's almost like it's part of what you're supposed to be looking at. Like there's more factory off in the distance or something. So I'm good to keep that. I'm good to keep that. Maybe over here, adding a little something extra on the floor might help. Although the floor is supposed to be sand. Maybe up here, like the sand's pretty built up in those two spots. Right, looks like we're moving on to this now. This old grind, eh? So that bit for there, and then over here. Maybe do that again there then. And then I think that's probably about the most of the full stuff I'm going to have. Maybe a little bit just here. Cool. Right, now, best thing for it is probably just to whack all of that away. And grab, we've got everything we need right here actually. Grab one of these. Grab two of those. Cool. So if we go for like the next level down, go for placement, then go for the next level down, we'll start with those. And then we need to fill up the bag with loads of this stuff. I could use impose. We'll see how we go. Yeah, look at that. That stuff's going to follow me now. Ah! Oh god! I keep pooping sand! Oh jeez, you and your potty jokes, X. Yeah. Yeah, so now maybe impose is the way to go. Or is it replace? Nah, no, it's replace probably. Oh, then we need placement. Let's have a look at chat. My website is down apparently. Oh right, you were in chat when you realised I deleted it. Why do you keep bringing that back up, chat? Why do you keep talking about when I accidentally deleted my website? It's pretty rude, you know. I don't constantly bring up the time you accidentally deleted your website, do I? God. No, that's actually not what I want to do. Let's get rid of that. Jeez, I mean... Oh, that didn't work. Replace, that's the one. Almost gave me a heart attack, says Mayscore. I'm sorry, my dude. Jeez. I'm a nightmare. That's because it was a historical derp. It definitely was. It definitely was an historical derp. But that's what happens if you rush decisions and you don't take your time. Maybe. I need more sand. What would you know? Now, it's weird, actually, now I think about it. I searched sand, but we got chiseled bit bag. I don't know, chisel and bits. I don't know what about that makes... Oh, sand. Chisel, sand, bits. Because it's called chisels and bits. The sand is in the word of the mod. Interesting. So what are we on here? Placement. Right, and now I'm thinking we get the lower level. I think we'll just fill it all in like this. I won't put in another lower bit. There we go. Slowly getting there. Dang, this place is super cool with the sand added. Time for plugs. Tell me what the website is and some other channels. Oh, I don't have a pop-up for the website now that I think about it. I could maybe make one of those and add it in. I don't know how worthwhile all that plugging stuff is though, if anyone actually goes and checks out the stuff really. I think like when you do like a direct call to action, it has a bit more of an impact. Right, I think actually I will have some of that lowest stuff just around here. And I'll kind of outline roughly where. Yeah, just sort of in that space, I guess. So now we'll go grab this. Do that, and I guess this one I think we might need to use impose. I'm not entirely sure how it works. Oh, well, that would appear to be how it's done. And do I want any more elsewhere? I think I might have a little patch over here as well while we got it going. Cool, and then if we go back to that level, we're on placement mode. There we go. Right, so with that covered up, I think we'll have the higher stuff now coming into this space. And then let's go grab the chisel for that. You still have the Google link plus link on your website, lol. Yeah, it's old. Mayscore wants me to get a new one, but I don't know, it's a lot of work to get one made. Oh, Mayscore, if you're listening, have a chat to Sherpa about what he's working on. Because it's going to be a big deal if we can do it. Something really good. Oh, we're slowly getting there, peeps. Bear with me. Bear with me. I've kind of gone a bit, like, bland over here. Actually, maybe it's not that bad. Like, there needs to probably be, like, a little bit of a sink. Like a lower down bit. In fact, I'm going to make that. Just here. And then around it, it comes back to normal. Just so it isn't too flat for that area. Do you know how sand's a gravity block? I bet it ain't when you chisel and bits it. Then it'll go floaty. Right, now we want to start sussing out like where the next level goes. And now we need more sand. And I think we'll have a little bit of the high stuff right there. Cool, so now what we need is the last level. And I think what we're going to do is probably do it this way around for a minute. And placement. And replace. And placement. This bit of the song is crazy. Wouldn't you say? Getting there slowly. X, I think I heard about it last team meeting. I'll see if I can help him out. Awesome, dude. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal if we can make it work. Oh, and that reminds me of other things, right? So some of my staff are trying to help me figure out how to upgrade the streaming experience, and what I looked at again, I looked at things again today, and I realized if the website, if this then that, can read Twitch chat, then I think it'll be able to pick up redemptions. And if it can pick up the redemptions, then we can create like some sort of push to somewhere else that can then loop in to a hotkey to activate something on my stream deck. So I believe it is possible. It's going to need if this then that, and it needs to talk to something on my computer and get it to run a hotkey, and then that way we'll be able to do the things we're trying to do. So far though, I haven't really like got too far beyond that. I kind of just looked at that if this then that thing again, and I thought actually, if it can do this, it might be possible. So that's as far as I got with it today anyway. Right, look at that. We finally finished this area. Now I feel like this is inadequate here. Because it's just like, this is blatantly going to be a hangar, like an Area 51 hangar here. So we might want to actually separate this bit and that bit to some extent. What material is this? This is lead sheet metal. Let's go ahead and open this up. Oh look, that bit bag was full of other stuff. Oh well. So I want my wand. And I want my lead. Let's press that. Yeah, so I reckon that thing coming out here, and then having like the hangar bay open at some point around here so you can get in and see that. And maybe even embracing like some of this stuff being transparent, but I don't know. Let's grab the destruction gadget. We've got to do some work clearing out some more space, that's for sure. I can't help but seeing bike racks when you go by the coils at the entrance. Yeah, I know what you mean now. Sounded a bit like the thinking process during the 7 billion human stream, says Skulls of Doom. I've been playing a little bit more of that game. I've really been enjoying the puzzles. How do we do this again? Yeah. That looks like a 5 to me. It's a 5. Yeah, that should give us enough room to keep this thing coming out. You're missing 2 by the front door, says Grey Wolf. 2 what? I don't know, but I ain't that bothered if I'm missing something now. Sand. Oh, right. So I'm missing 2 sand by the front door. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well spotted, because we took some things out. I did also and ah about doing a little bit of, like, putting in a bit of sandstone here and there for the smoothness, but I think that's going a bit overboard with the detail, really. It's the kind of thing you could do, but this kind of gets the point across. And, you know, the whole area is done now. We did need a screenshot for this. I think that right there is pretty cool. And, you know, that's what I want out of a live stream, just getting a solid amount of stuff done. But, yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up in a minute. We've got 550 peeps here. If you enjoyed it, if you haven't hit that follow button already, consider doing so. It would be greatly appreciated. Looks like I have not let this thing recharge quick enough. As you can see, we've got a lot of space for our next projects now. They're going to be a bit of fun to do. Might not actually need this much, but, you know, clearing it out anyway. Oops. Oh no, that was okay. So, like, what am I thinking here? Depth, like a 5? Anyway, probably a good idea to get a mega torch on the ground, was the other thought that I had. Vanilla dead bushes might be good in the sand. They might, but they'd only be usable. Oh, I don't think we even have any. Let me guess. Craftable? We'll only be able to use those in a couple of spaces. I think I might literally leave it like that for now. Just 3 of them. A suggestion. Yeah, so another stream tomorrow in the morning. Might be starting a little earlier than I've scheduled, but going to be playing Little Nightmares tomorrow. So be sure to come back round for that. Right, we're going to end this stream with a raid. Going to send you over to Mr. Cubfan135, who's playing some Minecraft. Not sure what he's doing, but sending you over to Cub today. So hit that raid button, hit that follow button. Thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. Thank you to all my Patreons. Thank you to the mods and all the peeps gifting subs. I'll see you in tomorrow's stream. Bye bye.